The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. It's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us on this Wednesday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
Now to the Sierra snowmelt, which is making the Kern River more dangerous every day. The grim scoreboard at the mouth of the Kern Canyon is now at 325, the number of lives lost to the river since 1968. But that's just one aspect, as 17's storyteller Robert Price explains.
By this time, Kern County residents know or should know about the dangers of the Kern River, and yet people continue to drown in the river. Who are these victims, and how do we reach them? Any of several ways, including social media, posted warning signs, including this sobering death tally at the mouth of the canyon, and face-to-face conversations with county park rangers. And this year, this addition to the county's public service arsenal, television commercials airing in the Los Angeles TV market. Kern County Search and Rescue team member Urania Molina Reyes appears in the ads.
The Kern River is especially dangerous this year with water levels at an all-time high. Wear a life vest if you're going near the river and beware of fast-moving currents.
Why in Los Angeles? Because that's where the vast majority of Kern River drowning victims hail from. 7 of the 9 people who drowned in the river in 2022 were from the Los Angeles area. Kern County is spending just under $100,000 on public service announcements warning people about the river in the Los Angeles and Bakersfield media markets. County Chief Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop says the county needed to do more to warn the public about what many regard as the most dangerous river in the nation.
A big contingent of folks getting into the river, whether it's at Hart Park or in our campgrounds or even up into the canyon, are coming into our county from Southern California.
Last week, county park rangers personally warned 130 individuals who were in and around the river. No drownings this time, but it almost seems inevitable.
Unfortunately, that list is going to grow. Whether we like it or not, no matter how much education we do. We hope to mitigate it a bit by running some television and radio ads and doing a good job with engaging with the public.
County officials can't say with any certainty whether a significant number of drowning victims spoke primarily Spanish or English, but they report, anecdotally, many interactions with Spanish speakers along the river. With that in mind, Alsop said, PSAs have been placed with Spanish language television in LA and Bakersfield. But even for locals who think they might know the river, this year is different.
Even getting in, if you live here, you say you're used to it, you know the river. I would tell you this year, I would think twice about it. That river's really moving quickly, and it's changed.
The PSAs began airing on Memorial Day and will continue all summer through Labor Day. How do we know if this is money well spent? Well, we don't. All we can hope for is fewer drownings in 2023. On the Kern River, Robert Price, 17 News.
And we have new details in the case against a local teacher accused of distributing and possessing child pornography. While executing a search warrant, investigators found hundreds of files with child porn on a computer at the home of 59-year-old Matthew Ambrose. Ambrose, who worked at Bessie Owens Elementary School, was arrested a couple weeks ago. He is free on bail and has not been charged with the crime. The school district says it is cooperating with the investigation, and Ambrose is not allowed to return to campus.
A man accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl as she walked home from school pleaded not guilty to all charges. The attack happened back in April. 2 teenage girls were walking home from Freedom Middle School when a stranger reportedly grabbed one of them by her breasts. The girls ran away, and in the surveillance video, you could actually see how panicked they were as they ran towards their homes. 22-year-old Timothy Kinsavith was later arrested. Yesterday, during his arraignment, we learned he has 3 similar cases ongoing in Fresno County. He's also suspected in at least 20 other incidents. Kinsavith is being held without bail and is back in court later this month. And Arvin High School is making plans to rename its school library after a beloved teacher who was killed in a deadly crash earlier this year.
Larry Hullum spent more than 4 decades at Arvin High School, teaching economics, coaching sports, including baseball, and coaching students through the We the People competition. Kern High School trustees say Naming the library after Hallam is a well-deserved honor for a man who dedicated his life to educating young people. The deadly crash happened back in February. Prosecutors say a man was driving drunk at full speed and ran through a red light when he hit a car carrying Hallam. The Kern High School Board of Trustees will vote on the library renaming June 26th. Turning to your 17 follow-up file now, and new information this morning on a pursuit involving a group of teens and a stolen Hyundai. It happened around 2 a.m. early Saturday. Police say they tried pulling over the Hyundai on Union Avenue when the driver took off. The teens tried turning onto the freeway when they rolled off the on-ramp and down the embankment. 3 14-year-olds were taken into custody after trying to run away from the crash. They left behind a 16-year-old who was pinned inside the car. Emergency crews were able to get him out and take him to the hospital. Police say all 4 teens will be booked into juvenile hall.
It's gone viral and sparked outrage on social media. A video of hot dogs scattered across the street after vendors were attacked in LA. It happened over the weekend, but we're learning one of those vendors is from Bakersfield. It happened Saturday night outside SoFi Stadium after a Romeo Santos concert. A security guard's accused of pushing 2 hot dog stands over after telling the vendors to move back. A 12-year-old girl who was watching one of the carts while her mom used the restroom was injured in the confrontation. Her mom, Lesbia del Toro Morales of Bakersfield. While this incident was disappointing for her family, Morales says this is not going to stop her from continuing to provide for her kids. SoFi Stadium says a security guard who was employed by a third-party contractor has been fired, and they're working with police to look into the matter.
Now to a story we first brought you on Sunrise yesterday. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a toddler in East Bakersfield. The cause of the 2-year-old boy's death has not been determined, but KCSO is calling it suspicious. 17's Marco Torres reports on what we know and what we don't know so far.
On Monday, an hour before midnight, a medical emergency on the 9000 block on Sentido Drive near Hillcrest Memorial Park was reported to the Kern County Sheriff's Office. A 2-year-old child unable to breathe. According to dispatch, it might have been a drug overdose. A swarm of sheriff deputies flooded the neighborhood, joined by firefighters and ambulance personnel. The entire neighborhood was blocked off, but nothing could be done. The child was pronounced dead at the scene. According to Lori Mesa with KCSO, it's investigating the cause of death and has not yet confirmed the toddler died because of fentanyl. I spoke with a dozen neighbors on Tuesday morning. I went out to the house where it all happened, but no one answered the door. Neighbors say more than a dozen people stay at the house. Documents show sheriff's deputies have been called to the house 13 times in the last 3 years for everything from shootings to sexual battery and assaults. The home stands out in the otherwise neat and quiet neighborhood. The majority of the homes in this neighborhood have families with little kids. Toys can be seen in many of their front yards.
Florida officials are conferring that they are behind the recent flights, dropping off dozens of migrants in Sacramento. The Florida Division of Emergency Management sent video that we cannot independently confirm that they claim shows migrants giving consent and signing waivers to fly out of state. In a statement, the division wrote, Florida's voluntary relocation is precisely that, voluntary. Through verbal and written consent, these volunteers indicated they wanted to go to California. A contractor was present and ensured they made it safely to a third-party, non-governmental organization. This statement went on to express frustration that when, quote, left-leaning mayors in various states relocated migrants in the past, there was little outrage. But when Florida does it, it is a state leaders were accused of kidnapping. Governor Gavin Newsom's office responded to that statement, calling it pathetic. In a statement, the governor's chief communications advisor slammed Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, writing, "This is exploitative propaganda being peddled by a politician who has shown there are no depths he won't sink to in his desperate effort to score a political point." Now, it is important to note DeSantis has not publicly commented on the situation.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.